Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Bizchicks TV. This is the place for tips, tools, and strategy and everything you need to help you build a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. It is Tuesday. The digital diva is in the house, and we are getting ready to rock and roll. We are here with your social media and digital marketing update. Marketing Talks with TJ. So sit back, relax, get a pen, some paper, take some good notes, and be ready to implement what you're going to learn today. As always, we want to welcome you to the live and the replay. Got questions? Put them in the chat. Leave us a comment. We'll be happy to get back to you. Now, TJ, take it away.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Happy wherever you are in the world. We are coming to you live. I don't know if we're on Facebook because Facebook is down. I don't know, but again, there will be the replay will be there. So welcome to the replay viewers. And I just want to say quickly that is what happens. You know, you can't run your business off of Facebook and Instagram. We've said that for years. And we'll keep saying it. Have a backup plan. This is why you need an email list. There are people that are running ads that their ads aren't reaching and doing what they're supposed to be doing, or they were in the middle of a live stream, or they were in the middle of posting, like I was in the middle of posting. So these are the things that you have to rock, like Fran said, rock and roll with, and you have to have your own media, your own. That means you have email list that you pay for, or you can use the free version of MailChimp, but it's off of Facebook. I mean, that doesn't mean that that's going to break down, but that's email. Text messaging, a text message list, SMS list. If you have that, you could reach out to your customers and your audience. And right now, you could say, hey, Facebook is down, but we're over here on SMS, Telegram, Signal, not WhatsApp, not Messenger, but one of these other messaging apps where you can say what you need to say. YouTube is still going. YouTube is still running. TikTok is running. Snapchat is running. Snapchat is running, and LinkedIn is running. Pinterest and all the other. So that just goes to show you that you see, for example, today that you cannot run your business on one platform only. It is the biggest one. You want to be there, but you want to have a backup, and you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
We keep saying that. Okay, so now we're going to get on to what we're going to talk about today, which is it too late to start? Well, today you can't start on Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp or Messenger, but you can still start. So I was thinking about this because I was looking at a video by, what is her name? Vanessa Lau, Lau, I believe. And she's a YouTuber, and she's been she started as a student and she built up a following and she turned it into an online business, and then it was big, and then she quit in 2021. At the end of 2021, I believe she quit, and then she took or at the end of 2022, one of those things, and then she took off a whole year. And she just came back this year, and then she was explaining why, and she was getting into the things that we talk about a lot, that you burn out by trying to be everywhere at once.
Right.
And that's not a strategy. So she realized, and then that's what she's talking about. But it just got me thinking, like, okay, people think that what's the word I want to say? That they think that the party's over when it's just getting started. And that's why I talk about the creator economy. That's why we talk about Risa Tisa. Actually, I have an update for her. That's what I was doing on Facebook. She's now rep by Creative Artist Agency. So when you go to her link in her bio on TikTok, it says, contact my agency, Creative Artist Agency. What does that mean? What is Creative Artist Agency? They rep Hollywood stars and reality TV shows and different things and books and movies and whatever's going on in Hollywood. So I'm like, maybe she's got a lifetime deal. Could be.
Somebody gonna tell her story or help
Maybe
her
she's
tell
got
her
a book
story.
deal. There's so many things that we can reel off. So she is running with what she has, and she started. She just went, okay, I got a story to tell. I want to get it off my chest. Here's TikTok. I'm just gonna press the button. I'm in the car, my hair in rollers. She might have had makeup. I don't know. You don't notice those things because you're investing in her story, and that's really what it is when you want to start. You want to just press the button. It's not about production values. It is sometimes, and sometimes it's not. But here it is, an example. I don't know how to put it, where she's in the car. She's just something that everybody else is doing. They're in the car talking. But what makes her stand out? What makes her special? It's a story. And she decided to say, instead of keeping this information to myself, I need to share it with the world. Good morning, Dr. Tachi. I need to share it with the world. So I always think about why people don't want to start a YouTube channel. When I believe we were talking Friday, or I can't remember if it was Friday or Tuesday, about I think Dr. Taji brought it up about a student. No, not a student. Something about film student, or something about producers or productions or something. And I think we were talking about how they're waiting for Hollywood to come knocking. Well, how Hollywood gonna come knocking if you haven't started? So Risa Tisa got a knock on her door from Hollywood. Was that her goal? I don't know. I think her goal was, we don't know. We would have to talk to her. And another thing, she was doing Good Morning America this week, I believe. Was it yesterday? She was on Tamron Hall. I saw this on YouTube, by the way.
Right.
She was on Tamron Hall. She's probably gonna go on Jennifer Hudson. I'm just saying, she's making the rounds because CAA is repping her now. So they're like, okay, we got you. Whatever plans is in motion. But what happens if she hadn't pressed the record button and started?
We would not be talking about her right now.
No. And I think she would have been fine. It's not about, how can I say this? It's not about, her thing was, she talked about her desires was to go to go to London, Paris, and get a BMW, because these are the things that her ex-husband promised her. He promised her the moon and the world and the stars. And I've seen a lot of pushback. Oh, she should have known better and blah, blah. But sometimes you just want to dream. The things that you want, you forget your dreams as a child. Because you're adulting. You're living an adult life, and that means bills and things and commutes and fighting this and fighting the lines, and you got to get in the line and do. It's all of that stress. So you forget those dreams that you have. And you should. This is a good example of you shouldn't, because she decided to start, press a button, hit record, and talk about the things that happened to her and the things that she wanted. So BMW was, they got into it. I don't know if they promised her a car. People in the comments mad because BMW is not giving her a car. They don't have to give her a car.
No.
I think we said that last week. There was some cosmetic CEO that was going to send her to London. I don't know if that's happening, because some of the things she said, and I haven't checked today. She's probably got an update since she was talking to Robin Roberts and Tamron Hall and other people. But she decided to start, and I said, "Is it too late to start?" No. YouTube is there waiting for you. Facebook is not there today. It'll be there tomorrow or later today. Instagram will be there later today. It's not available now. But these platforms are here for you to start telling your story. And that gets me into, I was thinking about why people don't want to start. It's because they want to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
They want perfect, and they want guaranteed success right out the box. But if you don't start, you don't get it. Hence, Risa Tisa. You got to start.
And how many other posts has she put up before we got to the 50?
Right. She had a TikTok channel before. She was posting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I use that example because it's current and that's a part of it also what we're going to talk about. But there are other people. I mean, I brought up last week the ocean spray guy, which his did not go the way that it was supposed to go or what his desire was. I don't know because he didn't really talk. But Risa talked. So that's why I use her. Um it's an indication, and I said this before about social media turning into media, and that means that we have to approach it differently. And I always say I hate when I get old information, when I Google stuff or I go to somebody's Instagram and I check it out and they got old, stale, formulatic, oh, one, do this, but that they regurgitated from someone else because things change. So social media is moving to media. And another driver of media, social media, is culture. Can we agree on
Mm-hmm.
that? Culture. So I want to give you a definition. Culture that I mean in this instance, because culture is, it's just a group of people that they do things a certain way. But I want to talk about the cultural norms. So culture is a set of pattern of human activity within a community or social group and the symbiotic structures that give significance to such activity. Got it off of internet. I forgot where. One of the dictionary sites. So, but I want to talk about a cultural norm. It's acceptable conduct in society. It serves as a guideline for behavior, dress, language, and demeanor in a situation, which serves as a template for expectations in the social group. Now, that's what when I'm talking about culture. Behavior, dress, language, demeanor, how they act, and how they act in certain situations. And it's a template for how that social group works. Now, a good example of this, Black Twitter. Black Twitter is a group where there's no head or there's no rules, but everybody within the group knows certain things that are shared or said. So we have behaviors, dress, language, different things, actions based on shared experiences. So, and it's called Black Twitter because it's Black people. If you don't like that term, I don't know what to tell you. What else do we call ourselves? We've gone through the list. It was colored, Negro, African American, Afro American, Black, this, that. I'm like, I'm going with Black. And sometimes when people say that word, like what? So what? How should we describe ourselves? So we gotta say Black Twitter. So Black Twitter is a cultural entity, and the reason why Twitter is, and I call it Twitter, I don't call it X. The reason why Twitter is still going, that car is still going, is because of them and tech. Tech people are still there. They won't let go of it. Black Twitter is there until they turn the lights off like they did Black. Black was people were talking, live streaming, and then went bloop. That's what's going to happen. But Black Twitter is there. So, when I bring that up culturally, it's because also there's the TikTok creators that create the dances, and then they don't get the reward of the creativity. That's a big thing. And there's other platforms where this happens. Even in our normal society, there's a thing. I read a story this week about the DEI, diversity, equity, inclusivity. I think it's what the DEI stands for, which after the last few years has come about where universities and businesses and people have hired a head of DEI or head of diversity. And I think I read this week that 3 women were fired at a university. I want to say Florida. I might be wrong. And Dr. Tati, if you know about this story, you can chime in. I'm thinking it's Florida, but they got rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Thank you. But they got rid of the department, the heads, and everyone. And I think it was University of Florida. And so now I went on Twitter and looked it up. Yes, Florida. Thank you. So I went on, looked it up, and there's a bunch of people, yay, because we don't need that kind of thing. This is culture. This is what's going on. So people are starting, there's waves of things where it's popular after George Floyd is murdered. There's a certain culture, and they say things and they put the black squares up, and it's a wave that they ride for a while and then they let go of it. So now we're in this wave of they're getting rid of DEI things because Elon Musk said something. I don't even know what he said. A couple other people in politics and the mayor of Florida, not the mayor, the governor of Florida said things about DEI. And so we're in this wave now where culture is like, okay, well, we can get rid of those people because that culture is saying we don't need it. We had the Supreme Court. Did they get rid of something about affirmative action? Forgive me, I so much information and I read and consume it and it goes. And I said, well, I'm gonna come back. Oh, I think it was the Asian community, something about students and something about excuse me, something about getting accepted into certain universities, and there was a big thing and Supreme Court did something. So you see do you see what I'm trying to say? There's this wave of culture where things are changing. So let me get into these comments here because Dr. Sachi says diversity, equity, inclusion. Thank you. Ask Mark Ward. Hi, Mark. Mark says, yes, it's Florida. Dr. Tachi said, all of it is performative at best. Many of these organizations never wanted to have true inclusivity anyway. That's what I want you, thank you. That's it. It's performative. You see it as, some people see it as that and call it out immediately. I know a couple people on Instagram that they went live and was like, these black squares, and they went into it. Because these organizations don't want to have true inclusivity. They don't want that because you see the way that they're gloating and gleeful about it going away. Same thing about why is there a BET? Same discussion. Why do we need black entertainment? There's other things. Why do we need a black enterprise? Why do we need Essence Mag? I could go into it. We're not going to go into it, but let's get into the comments. Mark says, as one who used to do that work in large organizations, trust and believe it is desperately needed. The illusion of inclusiveness is eroded when you examine the boards, executives, and companies. I agree. It is needed. But what I'm saying is that there's a wave of culture. And that I feel that wave with this when I read the Florida story. And there's some others. I think it was Dr. Gay. I'm not sure if that's her name. Was at Harvard, and they got rid of her. And it's starting. There's an undercurrent, and it's needed. But here we have someone like the mayor. I keep saying mayor, governor of Florida, that orange guy. Other people that when they flap their gums, it sends a signal to that other group who are disgruntled because, we had a black president, blah, blah, blah. They're still angry about that. That drives a lot of what we have today. They're still angry about that. So let's get with that. So that drives them to do things and say things. This orange man came in and now they feel like they could just say and do whatever they want. Mark says Tachi is right to put lipstick on the pig, but don't really want to change. Yes, 100%. But I want us to get into that and not accept it. We don't have to accept it, but I want you to see the reality of it, because that also is culture. That culture. Okay. Add the mix, social media where everybody has a platform when we didn't have a platform before. Everybody didn't have a soapbox before. You had to pay to get on TV. You had to, the journalist had, or the show had to invite you on. Now, everybody has a phone. Everybody has a device that allows them to step up to the mic and say whatever they want to say. Now, some people will hear it, or a big crowd will hear it. It's that we can't control. But those things drive culture and drive media. So that's a part of, I want to bring it back to, because I took it the long way. Why people don't want to start, that's another reason why, is because they'll be called out, rightly or not so rightly. They'll get trolled, they'll get attacked, they'll get negative feedback, whatever you want to call it. Some people can't handle that. And that's okay. I'm not saying that you should put up with hate speech and that we shouldn't. But that's a part of when you step up to your mic, your phone, and say what you got to say. And the bad side of that is some voices are needed, definitely needed, but they're not going to start because they're afraid of the attack, or they're afraid of the negativity that comes along with it, or the doxing, or whatever you want to think about. But that's the ocean of whatever that we're swimming in. So that's the culture part of it that I want to say, that they're not, because of the culture, because of the backlash, feedback, or whatever. So is everybody getting? Because I'm taking it a long way around, because this is what's coming up when I'm thinking about it. So everybody, what I'm thinking, are you getting what I'm thinking about when I said about, is it too late to start?
It is
Because
not.
I want to hear everybody's opinion.
We can put some music on while we're waiting for the delay to kick in if you need to.
Right.
But
Okay. And I started thinking about this is because, oh, you got it. Good. Okay. Because I listen to a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk. I listen to a lot of people. I used to listen to this guy called Patrick Bet David, but I stopped listening to because he started ranting about Orange Man. And I was like, dude, you were saying some good business stuff, business strategy, but you started going off on your love for this guy. And I'm like, I can't listen to you. So I will give everybody a chance most of the time. But if they're really extreme and out there, I'm not listening. Dr. Tati said, and this is right on target, because political views and social views do shift culture. It does today. In the past, it didn't. 30, 40 years ago, it didn't. It's because social media came along, the internet came along, social media came along, and it changed everything. So you have to think about, as a business, corporations have to think about this, that you really now have to take a stand when they didn't have to take a stand before. Like Nike. Nike took a stand. They didn't have to with the Colin Kaepernick and other things, because in the past, businesses could just, well, I'm here to sell soap. I'm not here to talk about Nixon or this or that or take a stand. They didn't have to. Now, Gen Z has hold their feet to the fire. Other generations, millennials started it. Gen X started it. Wherever you want to go with it, it started. You can start with the boomers. They did the stuff in the 60s. So there is the wave of the younger generation changing the culture, which affects us because we're people, we're humans, we're here together. And as a business, if you want to grow your business and reach people, you're talking to people, not talking to robots. Even though there's the thing now, oh, there's a bot when you go for customer service. It's annoying, yes, sometimes, and sometimes it's really convenient. Like when I have an Amazon, in my package, I love to talk to a bot, because I'm like, I'm not sitting here arguing with somebody in India. Nothing against India. I'm just saying I know where the customer service guy or person is coming from, even though they have an Americanized name. I'm like, no, you guys are. I know where you are.
Your name is not Bob. You are not Bob. Dr. Tachi says it feels like it's way too much, but in a way it's good, so that you can align with brands and etc. that uphold your values, whatever they may be.
Yes. And this, I kind of felt this going way back to Google Plus. Google Plus is about interest. You follow people that you was like-minded, that talked about topics that you like. Everything else was like friends and family, friends and family. And I was like, whoa, Google Plus came along and was like, whoa, community topics, and they didn't get it. So, and rest in peace, Google Plus. But that's where this kind of started, and it does feel like way too much. And I always say, if it's too much for you, put it down. You don't have to pick it up. You don't have to pick it up. You can go in the community that you want to, like Reddit. Reddit has a Bridgerton community, and I'm like, I like Bridgerton. I'm not a fanatic, but I like to know what are those people talking about, because they keep up on it. They're like, they know when the latest thing that comes out. So there's a community on Reddit, or there's a community on Facebook, or there's a community somewhere that is keeping up with the stuff that you like, the show you like, the entertainment, the news, the politics. It's all there. That can be overwhelming for some and great for others. So you have to pick your spot. Cultivate your feed is what I used to say. You cultivate your feed. You can't eat all. You can't go to the buffet and eat it all, because now we have 24 24/7. Remember, there was a time we didn't have 24/7 cable or 24/7 news. We didn't have those things, so life felt better. That's why they want to go back. Oh, it's so simple. Oh, it felt better. No, the same thing. What's happening today? What's happening back then? It's just that you weren't exposed to it 24/7. That's the issue. So that's what I'm saying about getting started, because as a business, as creator economy, I like to talk about, you got to get on that wave. It's coming in, waves are coming in, the surfers are coming in and they're riding the big waves. You got to be one of those people, because in the future, when AI takes over everything, where will you be? It'll be much harder to be seen to get on a wave. Whereas now, because with generative AI, when you do a search or anything, there's something called citations. Where do those citations come from? The internet, from websites. LinkedIn is starting to be picked up by Google.
Right.
Reddit is picked up by Google. There's a couple others. X, Twitter. There's a couple others. So that's what I'm saying about. Dr. Taja has a comment there. Good.
She says, just like some people go to every buffet in Vegas and try to devour everything, there are some people who try to absorb all the media offerings. It is impossible.
I think about the Fat Boys. Remember the song "All You Can Eat," and they were just going and eating. But I mean, I'm trying to make it funny. But this, you don't, just because it's there doesn't mean you have to eat it.
Right.
Because if you do the Fat Boys, you're going to, and you're going to look like them, and you're going to expand. We don't want that. But there's a thing called FOMO that they like to joke about. FOMO, fear of missing out. Miss out, people. Miss out. Stick with what makes you happy. Like I said about the Bridgerton group in Reddit, there's all kind of communities in Reddit. Now, Reddit's not okay. There can be stuff that's not desirable. You're walking through the forest, Little Red Riding Hood. You gotta watch out for the wolf. That's all I can say. And there's other people. Yes, yes, the Fat Boys love them. Yes, the wolf shouldn't be there, but it is. We shouldn't have to deal with it, but it is. It's reality, it's life. We got to get used to some things. Change what you can change. But if you don't start, if you don't put your voice out there like Risa Tisa, you don't know where you'll end up. You might not end up at grandma's house. You might get stuck in the forest and you get off track, and you're either in a good place or a bad place. You can't blame the forest. Okay, you got to have a path. There's a path. Mm-hmm. Why is there a path? That means people have traveled it before and worn the path into the forest. And then you go, okay, if I stick on the path, I might eventually make it out into the daylight and make it to grandma's house or wherever you're going. But those are some of the things that, people today are like, okay. There was a discussion. This is a little off track. I got a discussion on one of my forums about, they were saying about tech jobs and what would happen to tech jobs. And I said, what would happen? But a lot of people are just going, okay, well, I'll do this, and this. And I said, well, that's not going to happen because AI has changed the path. So you got to make plans now.
Yep.
You got to make the plan now. But there's people that you want it to be perfect. You want it to be right. You don't want to make a mistake. But that's how you learn. You make the mistake. So you start. You press the button like Brian Fanzo. Push the damn button. That's what he used to say. Push the damn button. He's been live streaming for forever. Like he just pushed the button. Okay, Mark.
Mark says something that I tell clients all of the time. You have to play the game of the board that you're on, not the one you wish you were on.
Although now we're getting into a place where we might be able to make that board that we wish we were on because of things that are happening. But you're right, Mark. You're right. You have to play the game the way that is here, and you have to get in and change it. So, like I'm saying, if you don't start YouTube or LinkedIn, Snapchat, whatever your platform, pick it. If you don't start it, how are people going to know about you, your voice, what you have to say. Getting back to Vanessa, I think her name is Lau, Lau.
Wow.
That she was off, and she's back on now, and she's talking about how she got burned out and different things. So I was watching one of her videos today, and I took a screenshot. I just want to bring it up and show that because I loved her sentiment here. So she was saying people are attracted to creators who are most like them. People are attracted to creators who are most like them. So that's what it is about being online. You have to be who you are. You have to start, you have to put your voice out, and then the people that are attracted to you will find you.
Mm-hmm.
Not, I want everybody to like me.
If you have everybody coming at you at one time, you will definitely
You can't handle it.
be overwhelmed. You'll be laying on the floor trying to figure out what is going on. You can't
Right.
like everybody. You can't, that's too many voices.
Right. There's too many voices. You want to be yourself because you're going to attract people attract like. That's just one of the laws of the world, science, whatever you want to say. I wrote this down, about people wanting to be perfect so you don't start. But your audience doesn't want perfect. They want to hear a story, be entertained, be informed. Don't come on YouTube thinking you're going to be Mr. Beast. You're a carbon copy of Mr. Beast or whoever that you found that has 100,000 views. They got that to that place because they are who they are, and like she said, people are attracted to them because that's what I like.
Okay. So there are people. The show on MTV, Ridiculousness. There are some people who get that. I don't like physical comedy that much. I
Yeah,
don't like,
you talking about the Jackass show and all that other
right, and the prank type stuff.
right pranks. Did Nick Cannon have something?
Yeah, there are different people who have prank shows, and it's very popular. I don't
Right,
like America's Funniest Home Videos for that same reason. I was like, okay, I cannot watch silliness. Watching people do stupid things.
right.
Okay, but there are a whole group of people where that is their thing.
Yes. And that's because they have a talent for it and they're natural at it. That's why it works, because they attract like. That's why I put up that screenshot.
Right. And so those people, they have a lot of viewers who want to see that, right? There are, for the people who like classic movies, there's, what is that called? TCM, where it's all black and white movies and film noir and blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
So there's people, everybody has their group.
And does that channel and that do they do stupid things like the MTV, like the all of the other stuff? No, they do things in a way that attracts the people that like that genre of film or that era. It's culture. It's culture. So that's what I'm saying about starting, because people think, well, okay, I don't want to start with, I'm afraid to start with zero. Why? Everybody else did. Think of the person that Mr. B started at zero.
Here's the thing. If you don't start, okay, so right now, a year from now, you'll be where you are right now. But if you start, you may be surprised a year from now what you have put out.
Yes, and there's a person I found on Threads. I can't remember his name. He talks about Facebook ads. Like his thing is ads. And I think he showed earlier this year, that he wasn't on TikTok and he wasn't going to get on TikTok because he didn't understand. Well, why would I want to be there talking about Facebook ads? Because again, like I said, people were afraid to get on TikTok because they thought they had to be dancing monkeys. And I said, you didn't have to be a dancing monkey. Just get on and say what you got to say. So he realized that a year ago, got on TikTok, and he showed the graph of progression where it was 0 to like this. And he said all he did was just, he got on, said what he had to say, made the, 15-second, 30-second, whatever format, said what he got to say, and did it consistently. And he said, if I hadn't started, I wouldn't be where I am now with it. And so people were asking questions, and he was like, "You just got to start." Well, what about all the dancing kids? Who cares? Those are dancing kids. Let the dancing kids dance. There are people on there. We talked about Old Man Steve. I've seen doctors on there. I've seen dentists. I've seen nurses. I've seen people mental health. They get on and they say things in their way, and they attract who they attract. Whoever's not attractive falls to the wayside. Again, Google Plus, interest based. I follow what I like. Reddit, I go to what I like. That's how it works. Mark has a
Mark says the subject of today's podcast and applicable to this discussion, are you going to defend your limitation or are you going to advocate for your possibilities?
but you got to start. You won't be able to answer that question if you don't start, people. I see a lot of it's hard to start on YouTube because they don't want to be seen as having 5 followers or 100
Right.
followers or
But if you don't put some followers, you will never have any followers.
everybody that you look up to on YouTube started at 0 or 1 or 2. And guess
No.
what? Brick wall, brick, 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 there's a wall. Brick, 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 another wall. And then there's a house.
They didn't start out trying to get followers. They
Now you
started
can buy the prefab house, but is it something you want to live in?
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
5 is better than 0. There
Right.
are
So
people, there are people who, when they started, but their intent wasn't to get a bunch of followers. Their intent was to share something they were passionate about.
yes, talk about their interests, talk about what they like. And I keep bringing up the guy with the hot sauce website. I got to look him up. We talked about that years ago. The guy with the hot sauce. And this was way before social media. He started this website talking about hot sauce. Why would people want to do that? Well, now look, we got a whole YouTube channel about the hot ones where they sit with celebrities and they eat the hot wings, and it gets hotter and hotter with the hot sauce, and they ask them questions to see when they can break them. Who would have thought?
Yeah,
That's what I'm trying to say. That is, and yes, it is hard to
but shouldn't work. That is, even if you are working, you're going to work hard. You're supposed to work hard at any work you do, because if you don't, then there's no reward, right?
Right. There's the consistency part of it also, but with Vanessa, she was saying that and I love her last video because she broke down where she went wrong, because she was just constantly focusing on the followers and the views, and she would drive herself crazy because, well, this one did this and that one did that. Where did I mess up? Perfection. Where now she goes, I just make the content that I like to make, and then I attract the people that like that too. She doesn't drive herself about, okay, I got to be here, I got to be there, I got to be there. It's a long haul. It's a marathon. And it will change. And what I'm saying is it will change because of culture. Things will change. So you have to constantly be up on the changes. And if you can't do that, then that's what we talk about. Right. And there's other places you can go and they talk about, well, this week we did this. There's somebody I follow on Instagram. What is her name? Jen's Trends, GENNS Trends. That her thing that she talks about what happened in Instagram, and she sends out a monthly thing about this is what happened for the month, or this is what happened for the week in Instagram, and these are the changes, and this is this and that and that. So I don't have to, be like, if I miss something, I can go to her. She's on Instagram, she's on YouTube, she's on LinkedIn, I've seen, I open whatever app of the day and she's there, and her post is popping up there. So she made it her thing. I think she's even written a book. She wrote the book with a couple other people, that is Instagram for Dummies. I think she's one of the authors. So Instagram is her thing. So if I'm not catching up on it, I can go to her. I'm like, oh, Jen's Trends. And where she's everywhere. I don't think she's on Snapchat though, but I'm just saying I go, oh, what's happening with Instagram? Or I heard a story this morning about something Instagram, something about the DMs or something. I just heard it and went, okay, I can look at that later. So I can go to her because I know she's gonna have either a story, a post, or something, an explanation. She's got a community you could join, and she has people come in and they do live streams, and she does office, all of those things. If I wanted to go, it's think of it as the layer cake. Like she's got the cake, or she's got the frosting, and she's got the frosting between the cake, and she's got this many layers and things to satisfy your desire, your craving for what's going on with Instagram, if that's the thing that you care about. But that's how you do it. But you got to start. She started at 0.
What? Not 0.
And Gary loves to say he started at 0. He's proud of that. He says, I don't care. He says, I could lose all my accounts now and start again at 0. It wouldn't bother me one bit. Because for some reason, people are attached to those vanity numbers of it, like it makes them important. Yeah, you know, more important than the person that's telling their story. Risa Tisa, you can get on there and tell. And I've heard they said other people have gotten on and said their story similar to her. But for some reason, hers caught fire. I don't know why, and I really don't care. It's just that take advantage of it when it does catch fire. Be ready.
What if she had stopped? What if she had stopped at episode 5 instead of going to 50?
Well, I would like to think somebody would. Well, I know so one person would have asked her, well, what's next? That would have been nice. But it again, you can't call these things. I can't say, well, if she did 5 or 10 and then teased it, or just do all 50 and let everybody have at it, because the story was just so
engaging.
It was just so wow. Did people say, well, I gotta watch this thing? I haven't watched them all, but I mean, I'm just like, okay, I got the flavor of it. Like some of the Club Shay Shay things, I haven't finished because I'm like, yeah, that's a long 2-3 hours, but I will get to it whenever I go to YouTube and it pops up. I'm like, well, let me finish this interview with so and so. And that, I mean, and another thing, Shannon was saying that his channel had been there for years. He has been doing interviews for years. It's just that one popped off, and now everybody's, well, who is he and what does he think? He says, and there's a video. He did an interview with somebody. He broke it down. He was like, well, he's been on, excuse me. He's on ESPN. He's done shows and this and that, but they're just discovering him now.
But if he stopped before the Cat Williams episode, he would not be where he is now. Nobody's watching, so, or I don't have millions of followers, so I'm just gonna stop.
The easiest time to quit is just before the magic happens. You start, you digging and digging and digging and go, well, nobody's watching, and the next thing, that's when it catches fire, but you stop. And it's okay to stop, because that's what I was talking about with Vanessa. She stopped, but she restarted with a different, not expectation, but a different process, a different mindset. And she explained what happened.
Right.
She explains it all. I burnt out. And then this last video of her, she explained why. So now she's changed from a process of watching every little tick of things. She goes, now I just make goals, and she makes weekly goals. And just, okay, week 1, and list 5 things and check them off. And she has a tool that tells her, like, if it's how, like the 100, like a 0 to 100%, and that gives her a gauge. And then she does quarterly goals, and looks at that. So I like that approach of it, of, okay, maybe just make a weekly checklist. Well, this is what I want to do. I want 3 videos this week. And just do 3. And if you don't do the 3, don't beat yourself up, is what she's saying. She doesn't beat herself up if it doesn't go to 100%.
Right.
So that might be a good thing. But all of this got me thinking, like, starting. Why people won't start? Because this is the perfect time to start, and it's because I was, I hadn't gotten into tech discussion. They were talking about tech jobs, and it was mostly younger people trying to figure out, well, where should I, and I'm like, well, create economy. But if you guys are still chasing this traditional path, you're gonna have to make some changes, because it may be different. That path may be different than what it is today or from 10 years ago. Tech is way different, like job wise. I mean, like working for a corporation and company and different things like that, because they're laying people off because, well, AI can come in and write my code. So remember, there was a big push a few years ago. Oh, code, code, code. That's dead. Why? Because AI writes code.
Right.
Code is
I-
like, okay, it's code, it's math.
right. And there are some of us who need help with math, and therefore AI can help with that. Just like a
Right.
calculator, right? You pull out the calculator, you put in the numbers, and it spits out the answer for you.
1 + 1 is 2. So that thing of everybody was pushing their kids to code and they're still doing it. Now I'm like, okay, that's old news. In tech culture, that's old. They don't need coders because they have, for a year, they have AI. AI does the coding, the heavy lifting, the building block. You don't need anybody to build the foundation. It's built. You just need somebody to check it.
Mark said, I'm still convinced that I will eventually take off on MySpace and Friendster.
MySpace and Friendster.
Okay, MySpace might be still up today.
MySpace is, I think, was around for musicians or something. They did a pivot. I'm not sure.
I think it is still a thing.
I think it is. I know Friendster's not. But see, that's the deal of, okay, the discussion was about where the ball is rolling, where the puck is going, and I'm like, you got to follow it over there, because pushing them into coding and STEM, well, okay, you've done the pushing for the last 5-10 years. Now here comes AI, and corporations and companies are like, well, we don't really need 100 coders. We need 5 to check what AI is doing. So where did that leave the other 95? They got coding skills, but nobody needs that, because these companies have to pay the coders. So if I have 100 and AI comes along and I got the right tool and I only need 5 to check it, well, I'm sorry, goodbye 95 jobs. But those are people. So again, this is the thing where you have to decide. Yeah, I'm getting off track because I was just thinking about that conversation. I was trying to get them to understand, look, you got to think differently. You got to start something new. But you got to start it. And culture drives it. Platforms definitely, with us, platforms definitely drive it, because everybody's talking about the algorithm of Instagram and how do I grow on Instagram? And I'm like, okay, well, Instagram has a whole bunch of algorithms, right? They don't have one.
Right. They have several.
They got a feed algorithm. They got a stories algorithm. They got a DM algorithm. They got a channel whatever piece of the highlights algorithm. They got all those things in there. And you're sitting there trying to figure out how to beat the system, when all you got to do is just start and talk about the things that interest you, interest another group, and then be entertaining, not in a dancing monkey with all of the pieces kind of way, like a one-man band. Risa Tisa.
You have to be interesting.
She wasn't sitting on a $1 million set with lights and makeup and hair and mics and the phone in a car.
She's so real. I get her. Okay.
Right. And she was being real because she was just talking. That's her. So if you watch the GMA interview with Robin Roberts, it's the same as when she was on TikTok. She's the very same. There's no put on, no, well, let me put on the Reese teaser. Her name was
Because
Teresa
her
Johnson. She went on as Teresa Johnson and started talking, and I was like, "Whoa, she's got something. She's got something."
right,
And for
because her story didn't change. It was still her experience and her story.
yes,
It,
yes,
and she just happened to tell it on TikTok. And then so wherever she goes, that story doesn't change. It's still the same
and
story.
I'm gonna say everybody on TikTok, CAA is not gonna knock at your door.
Mm-mm.
They knocked at her door because of who she is and the way, it's that was a natural ability that she has, is what I'm trying to say. So your natural ability, whatever it is, let that be the thing that drives you when you're on media, when you're doing things, when you're trying to start something, when you're going, okay, well, I gotta get this many subscribers because I want to be in the YouTube partner program because blah blah blah. When you look at it that way, it's a long. It looks way. What is it? 1,000 subscribers, and I forgot what the requirements are, but it looks way
So
over
many,
there.
yeah, you got 1,000 subscribers, so many watch hours,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not just rolling up in there.
Right.
So you better
So
be having fun with whatever you're posting. And it's like, oh,
yes,
I'll post that today, and I'll post that today.
yes.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. When you have that goal of, well, okay, yes, you want to be in the YouTube partner program. That's great. I'm not saying not have that goal, but if that's your mindset, it's going to take you a long time versus having the mindset of what am I good at? What are my abilities? Can I tell a story in this way or that way or that way? And am I good at it? And if I'm good at it, how can I get better at it? And then you make your content and you post it out and you let it go. It's a balloon that you release.
Mm-hmm.
When you do that, then you get to that goal faster versus, well, you're at Peloton. I'm gonna get that thing, but no, that's not how it works. And a lot of people and I say this because I see a lot of people online that are disappointed because, well, Instagram this and that, and they love to talk about, well, Instagram did this and that. I'm like, well, there's other trees over here. You can't reach the apple tree. There's a lemon tree over there. There's a pineapple tree. There's a pear. There's a this. Pick. You pick it, but you gotta start. So that's what that's what we need to talk about today. And all of this comes courtesy of Risa Tisa, again, another week of this lady. So, and she's turned the internet upside down. It was Club Shay Shay was Shannon, and now it's her. It'll be somebody else in a week or so. It'll be something else. It'll be something viral or something that gets everybody talking. And it's different levels. It's just that this lady has now risen to the level of she's on Good Morning America. She's on Tamron Hall. I haven't checked if she's on the nightly news. I haven't checked, but those are the things. And so how do you get to that point where those things happen for you as a creator, as an influencer, as a business owner? You have to do things in your way. You have to know your natural talents. Basically, that's what it is. And it's not too late to start, because as long as you know your natural talent, there's a platform. Pick one. I say YouTube because, I bring you the charts and I show you that, YouTube, this and that. And so you make the decision that you want to make. But, she did TikTok, which is fine. And you see the end result of that is what I want to say. You see the end result. And TikTok versus Facebook. Well, Facebook is not I'm not sure if Facebook is back up, but those are some of the things that we have to take in stride.
I don't think they're back.
They're not back. But see, you have to, what I'm saying is you have to start. And it's great to, I want to have 10K subscribers on YouTube. I want to have 10,000 followers on Instagram. I want to have this metric on this platform. Great. Do it, but start and know your natural abilities and make content in that in a fashion, a form that's going to complement that. So she's a natural storyteller. She felt comfortable in front of the camera. Another popular thing now is the faceless YouTube videos.
Right.
They're doing, you don't have to show your face. Or you could podcast. Mark is doing podcasts, getting lots of engagement.
I
Getting
think,
lots of engagement. Not,
yeah,
okay, well, I got 1 million followers. Engagement. Engagement and followers are two different things.
right. Instagram is back, it looks like.
Oh, okay. So see, there you go. So Instagram people running their ads is going, phew. Facebook is like, well, what about us? And these things happen. They have happened before, and they will continue to happen. And you do not put all your eggs in one basket.
You do not.
And this thing that happened to Facebook and Instagram today could happen to YouTube. Well, I don't know. YouTube had something with Gmail once in a blue moon, but other than that, they've been pretty much consistent. So
Yeah,
these are the things we have to deal with.
It looks like Facebook is back too.
Hey, Facebook. We weren't streaming.
So it was apparently everything that had to do with Meta was down.
Yeah, Meta. So Meta is Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger. I think that's the 4. Then now they're back.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you got to start. So get started, and you need help. Reach out here to the Bizchicks or reach out to me, Terry Johnson Online. Find me everywhere. Let me know what you need help with. It's easy, but it's hard. You can go viral, but you need a system.
Right, because see, viral will break you if you don't have a system.
Because you go viral and it just it's a balloon where the helium it just fizzes out and drops on the floor. If it's air, if it's helium, you're good. But see, you need a system that goes, okay, I got some attention. Maybe not millions, but I've gotten some attention. What do? Systems will save you because, and again, if you watch this Vanessa, her last video, she put in, I have to go look up this YouTuber. She put a clip of a YouTuber in who did the same thing, and she said she stopped, but she didn't announce that she was stopping, but her systems kept going. So people were like, where is she? So they went to her link, wherever she had a link and she was selling something, and she said people were just buying.
Because she had set the systems in place, so she could have taken the vacation and stuff still would have been rolling. She didn't have to say
it. I have to rewatch it. I was listening, but she was saying something about she stopped for whatever, probably the same reason for Vanessa, but Vanessa announced her leaving. This lady did not. And she said she was surprised because people had gotten used to her content, gotten used to hearing from her. So they would go to her pages, her platforms, her accounts, and go, wonder where she is. Oh, here's a link. Let me click it. Oh, she's offering this. She's offering that. Let me click on it and buy it. Without anybody telling them to do that. That's some of the possibilities of the creator economy, being online and being a good storyteller or somebody who provides value that's needed. That's a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Something that's needed. So that's that. But you got to start.
Oh, so it's not too late to start. Let's just go, because you'll be here this time next year, and perhaps we'll be looking at your 1 million followers, or we'll be looking at your 100,000 followers, or maybe your 100 followers. But whatever it is, you got to start now.
Yes, you got to start. And what's wrong with today?
Got to start with
plenty of tools. Yeah, there's plenty of tools, plenty of help, plenty of platforms. YouTube is a treasure trove of stuff. That's all I can say.
I think you should do a post on that, TJ, from this.
Do a what?
A post from today, which you just said. You got to start. What's wrong with today?
Oh, I like that. That's what I'll do.
I also
put the link. Yeah, I also put the link to Vanessa's video that I was talking about in the chat. So go over there and watch.
Mm-hmm.
And she's saying some good things. If not now, when? If not you, who? Love it. Just
Wow, this is
started.
good stuff, PJ, like always. So
Thank you.
connect with Terry Johnson online everywhere. Go to terryjohnsononline.com/info and sign up for whatever she's got going on, because she's bringing you good stuff, and it'll come right to you, all of the stuff, so that you don't have to go swimming out there
Right.
wherever everybody
And
else
just
is.
just a note, I think I have to check my link on there. If it's not working, just DM me somewhere or comment me somewhere.
Okay.
If it's not, but I have to double check it because I think one of the programs or one of the platforms that I'm using, something happened. So let me check it. But
okay. And then you can become a part of the Bizchicks community, just going to bizchicks.net and or text biz to 33777.
look at that. That works. That worked today. Facebook didn't work. Instagram didn't work, but that SMS worked.
Yeah, it does.
Today.
And because it's not a part of somebody else's platform.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you for tuning in to our program today. TJ is always here when Marketing Talks on Tuesday, so come on back next week. She'll be here same time, same place. Bring a friend, and let's talk some more about the things that you need to up your social media or now social now media and digital marketing skills.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got someone here you can trust. So we look forward to seeing you next week and on this Friday, where we'll be talking tech and all of the latest in the media, social media, and tech news.
What happened this week? Ooh, what happened this week? You'll find out. Come on Friday. And thank you, everybody, for your comments, for your opinions, for watching. We really appreciate it. So thank you, because we're sharing information together.
Yes. Stay tuned for Coach Karen tomorrow. And
you see, Bart wants us to sing
in a song. Well, we're gonna have our what is she, mascot brand lady, sing the song, or at least play the music. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.